Welcome to episode 15 of the Cohesive Home podcast. Today, we are so ready to talk about social media and tuning it out so that we can be more present.
Cohesive Home is a podcast for families desiring an uncomplicated life. Looking for inspiration to create your unique family culture and values-driven home? Kate and Melissa, two best friends and laid-back minimalists from opposite ends of the country, chat about all things parenthood, living simply, and crafting a happier home.
So, Melissa and I have an earth-shattering secret to share with you all today. We are both so totally burnt out on social media. I know we're probably not supposed to admit that, but we definitely believe in honesty over image.
And so many of you have asked us how we juggle everything like cohesive home, managing our homes, homeschooling our kids, and having good relationships with our husbands, our family, and our friends. But we don't have a secret formula except cutting back on social media. And that's it.
Yeah, I really wish there was some secret to managing time better or to really fit it all in and do it perfectly. But that's it.
No, I know exactly, but there isn't. There's not like this perfect formula for everybody. There's books out there written on the subject, and I'm sure that you can gain knowledge within time management that would help. But when it comes down to the time suck that is social media, like you can't really get around it other than just taking it out or minimizing it to some extent.
Well, and sometimes I just feel so drained from it too. Kind of how Instagram has become very formulaic with photos and perfection, and I get really intimidated by some of the posts that I see.
Yeah. I mean, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And there are certain things I still really enjoy looking at. But when you start to subscribe to all of these different feeds that are kind of the same, and all these pretty pictures become this almost like unobtainable perfection that we just can't, strive, or we're striving for that, but we can't obtain it.
Well, and you know what I think is interesting about it is, say maybe 10 years ago, before social media was as big as it is right now.
Yep.
You might compare yourself to your neighbors or your high school friends or other people from your local community. Mm-hmm. But now we have the huge internet. We've got like the mommy bloggers and the style bloggers, the people with the beautiful homes, the people doing amazing things. And I find it so inspiring, but then I also get overwhelmed by it.
Yes, because let's be honest, we're not on MySpace anymore.
Melissa, I think the first social media I was on was ICQ.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, I think I'm really dating myself.
I was never on that. I got on MySpace, but that was before MySpace, right?
It was. Yeah, that was like the original. That was before AOL Messenger. I mean, and obviously there wasn't images or anything like that. It was just, chatting, but
yeah. But I loved me some AOL Messenger. AOL.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
AOL
Messenger.
AOL, rest in peace.
Oh my gosh. I was on there all the time. My big computer was like huge. But then you had like a CD that gave you like 15 minutes. You're like, that's all I have. And it, oh gosh, yeah. There's the nostalgia of it is great, but there's some things about that I miss.
Well, because it wasn't so accessible how it is now.
The time drain wasn't there. It was, you have these allotted amount of time sometimes, like say it was AOL.
Right. Yeah. If I had to use dial-up to get on the internet, I would be trying to homeschool my kids and also, on my giant desktop.
Yeah.
But now it's so easy because it's on my phone and it's like, I should check and see what's going on with Cohesive Home today on our feed. And Yep.
And there's so many, good things, but that FOMO, that fear of missing out, it sounds so, I laugh every time I say it, FOMO.
Right.
But it's the fear of missing out. It's that, it's like if you're not on your phone or you're not on there seeing what is happening right that second, which Instagram isn't even that anymore, you're missing out. You're missing out on something that's going on. And without us even realizing that we're doing that,
Yes.
Like how many times a day? So many.
Well, but okay, so what happens then when you consciously say, I am not going to check my phone all day today. I'm going to tune out. Mm-hmm. What does that look like?
I don't know. I've left my phone back in my bedroom a couple times this week, and it has been awesome. Like I will literally, if it's not in my line of sight, like I actually forget about it. And I know we've talked about this in a previous podcast, but this was not like intentional. It was just, I just left it back there in the morning. And then so like the second time I did it, it was intentional. Yeah. And you were probably trying to get a hold of me and couldn't.
Where's Melissa?
And there's something really great about that.
It feels really good to disconnect.
Mm-hmm. It's freeing. It's freeing. Yeah. I've joked about this recently. I want to buy a flip phone just so I don't. But I can't because like my new car, which I love my new car, my Fiat, it is all, I know, my yellow Fiat. It's all Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Like it's all technology, which is great. But then I'm like, I need me a CD player. Like, where is a CD player when you need one?
How can I listen to books on tape? I mean, CD.
No, exactly.
Right? From the library?
You can't do that. I can't
That's
do
too
that
high tech for me, Melissa.
Unless I get one of those, like, Discman. Should I get a Discman? That's, like, really aging me. And then put that in.
And then it just becomes so complicated. So, I was telling Melissa before we started recording that I had a major technology fail. I was trying to help my kids watch a movie while we record because I'm flying solo. This is real life, people. This is what happens. We have to be careful with our tech use. I mean, that's something we've covered in past podcasts, but we do use it occasionally. And anyway, I was trying to put on an Amazon Prime movie for my girls, and it's on my old laptop, and it just completely shut down. So then I was like, okay, now I got to figure out a solution. And then troubleshooting. So technology sometimes, it does make me wish that we were back in the days of the flip phones and the desktop computers, but so not realistic.
So yes, we want to be back in MySpace days so I can listen to some music.
Maybe
when I
not
go on.
all of us.
Oh, come on. You don't want to listen to my like NSYNC song that I have on my MySpace page? Come on.
I think everyone should try and search for Melissa's MySpace because my feeling is that she probably still has one.
Oh my gosh. If I did, no. I don't even know. They deleted me long ago,
right.
I'm sure.
Well, something else that has come up recently, someone in our community messaged me about, and she wanted to know, how do you connect with others through the internet without having to join every group on Facebook and be, right? Like that's the way that everyone wants to communicate now is join my Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So can you be connected to others without having to use social media to do it? Is there a way?
I think the answer is yes. You just have to be a lot more intentional about it. Because, for instance, a lot of our co-op groups are on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook and I literally get on to check my co-op groups to see like, okay, when are we meeting? Is there any changes? Whatever. I know a lot of people do that with Twitter. Like Twitter will be their update to any of those things. And I feel like if the only way that you are connecting with people is online, then there is a box that you need to step out of, because it's very uncomfortable to maybe go up to somebody and be face to face. But if you're sitting behind a screen the whole time, those relationships, yes, you can find deep relationships probably, in a Facebook chat room. I'm not really even sure what they are, but I would assume that that's more of a personal thing that you're just going to have to be more intentional with stepping out of your computer. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's hard. It's easier said than done.
No, I absolutely agree. Well, one, I don't have Facebook, so.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, I did that on purpose.
Do you have FOMO?
I don't. Oh my goodness. My husband actually just recently got Facebook again. And I see his feed, and I am just so thankful that I don't do it. Because I get overwhelmed looking at it. So I do think it is
ADD.
Right.
And you're like, I can't take it.
But I do think it is possible to have offline and online relationships without being on Facebook.
Yes.
Or really any social media.
Yes. I mean, think of in the past. I mean, I've made plenty of friends without having social media. And I think that our entire generation that's kind of coming into motherhood right now, they may not remember what it's like to not have social media. And
the other thing to think of is, should we be focusing all of our time and energy on these quick relationships that happen online? I mean, I have made some great friends through Instagram, but I really cherish my friends that I see face to face regularly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to cultivate both. So you definitely don't want your eggs to be in one basket over another.
Yeah. And actually, I had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and she made a really good point about, on Facebook or on Twitter or Instagram, any of these social media sites, you have friends, and I'm using quotation marks in the air right now. You've got these friends that they are supposed to be people that you have, you cultivate deep relationship with. Cause like what is a friend? It's not an acquaintance. People that I know on Facebook are acquaintances. They may be somebody I met literally once in my life. And so I put a connection out there on my social media, and that's it. They're not a friend.
Yes. Well, and I think it's so interesting, like all of this that we're doing in front of our children, because, like my oldest daughter, she'll see me on my phone, and, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm checking up to see what my Instagram friends are doing. And it's these people that are just in pictures. Mm-hmm. She's never met them in person. And so I feel like we're changing the whole definition of what it means to be a friend or to have a friend.
Mm-hmm. Well, because there's something to be said about those true connections, like those friends that you've made. I mean, you really have made some good friends. And I mean, look at us. I mean, you and I talk on the phone, and, we're not physically together, and yet it's a friendship that we're cultivating and we're being intentional about. So if you're intentional with those friendships online, then be intentional about those. But I feel like, even with the positives, inspiring posts, creating a community online, there's still those negatives of it, fear of missing out, having your child look at you and go, why does mommy have a phone for a face? I never see her look in my eyes.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
It is. So,
so I mean, if you're listening right now and you're nodding like, yes, I know this, I get this, we want to encourage you to do a few things over the next week. Call a friend or email them as often as you get online. Try to balance that out a little bit more. maybe send a letter to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while and reach out. Try to rekindle some of those friendships.
So, we are trying to, in our personal lives, we are trying to really cut back on the social media, and that is going to extend into Cohesive Home.
We just really want to practice what we preach. And Melissa and I believe so strongly in having strong relationships with our families, to put our homes first. And that's above really everything else, including social media. And so we hope that doesn't offend you. We'll still be on Instagram. We love all of you, and we absolutely love the community. And so, we would love to encourage you to join us in cutting back on social media, to connect with us through our newsletter, which you can sign up for at cohesivehome.com, and also subscribing to the podcast. And we also absolutely love receiving emails from you and hearing your stories, and we respond back to every single one.
We love you guys. This has been very cathartic, I think, for us to talk about this almost kind of an elephant in the room. I don't know if you feel that way, Kate, but
no,
sometimes I feel this is we're kind of social media guinea pigs in a way. That was 2 animal references in 2 seconds. I didn't mean to do that, but
it was great.
We this kind of cumbersome thing that is social media, it's all new to us in a way, if you really think about it. And so it's nice to talk about it and to kind of hash out how we're feeling. And we hope that this resonated with you guys.
We hope that you enjoyed this conversation on social media, and as contradictory as it sounds, we would love to hear what you thought of it on Instagram or send us an email. Thank you so much for listening to Cohesive Home Podcast episode 15. We'll see you next time.